it's a different um, kind of it requires a different way of thinking. And so I think schools oftentimes they don't value English education. So they just have like a teacher who teaches in Hindi the grammar,
Yes,
memorize the grammar rules, take a
yes, yes.
test, grammar test, you're done, you passed English, congratulations, now you can focus on engineering. But those students, they missed a great opportunity to actually learn English. Instead,
Yes.
they just memorized a bunch of grammar rules that are not going to help them that much in the future. So, and that same dynamic also occurs in Korea where they teach for the test. Students take this ridiculously difficult test, college entrance exam, and with really, really difficult grammar questions. But then when they go to speak English, they just are not able to really fluently speak English comfortably, but they understand grammar so well. But it's like it's too much. It's too much
They are
grammar
not
and not
used.
enough
They
speaking.
are yes, yes.
Yeah.
They are not used in their daily routine. What they
Right.
know.
No. They just memorized it. They treat it like another subject. It's just like
Yes,
math. It's
yes.
like it's like a math problem,
In
the
that subject
grammar.
only, we Indian, what is happened? We are only listen to from their content, only content. We are not practicing in there. No
Hmm.
matter you are meeting we Indian doing mistakes. But what happened after finishing our education when we are facing interview? That time each and every then realize what is the important of English. And English is a global language, but before till that time this language is very strange for us. So that's why it's happens. So I want to ask one another question: what should we Indians do for enhance our language?
Yeah, I think there's like a couple of questions. Like the first one is, I think students, while they're in university, they miss an opportunity to speak English. And then once they graduate and get a job, now the company wants them to speak English. And then
Yeah.
the workers are like, what am I going to do? Like, I already took English in university. Now I have to learn English myself, and I have to pay for it. And it's not free anymore, like in university. So
Yes, sir.
my recommendation for those students is to join, like, it doesn't have to be our WhatsApp group, but for example, we have a WhatsApp group called World English, where we have a community of international students who need to improve their speaking ability so that they can get a better job. And so they, for like $10 a month, that's all we charge. Students can have a conversation class every day of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Sorry, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And students are coming to our class, and they're watching YouTube videos, or they're listening to podcasts like the A to Z English podcast. I mean, there's a lot of free material out there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and then also like what you're doing, having a conversation with the YouTuber. If someone wanted to reach out to you and said, "Can we have a conversation?" you would probably say yes, right? Because it's another opportunity to practice English. Like, take all of those opportunities and and take advantage of those opportunities, because they're after you graduate from university, it's not easy to find a speaking partner. And
Yes, sir, that's
it's
true.
very difficult. Yeah.
Actually, one is another question. Is when child grow up in that time, we should in Indian we should have focusing on in English. Is it correct or not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think the earlier you get a student exposed to English, it doesn't have to be like, studying grammar and stuff, but teaching a kid how to read, flashcards, um, playing games, reading books together, getting the child used to, hearing, and because children don't learn languages They
Yeah.
acquire languages, right? It's a more natural process where they just kind of like a sponge, they just soak it up. So the earlier you expose them to English, the better, the easier time they're going to have in the future. They'll have better pronunciation, better reading skills, better comprehension skills, better pronunciation or better speaking skills. Like they're going to be more um, they're going to adapt to English education a lot better, more smoothly if they already have exposure to it, if they can already read and they can already, speak a little bit of English. So I think it's a really good thing. It's hard to do. I mean,
Yes,
even it
because
was
of
even hard
most
for
of the
me.
parents, they don't know about English. So how can they speak to their child through this language, isn't it? And
Yeah,
next
I
thing
think it's
is,
going to have to be the state, right? It's going to have to be the government or something is going to have to offer some
yes,
kind of
yes, yes,
early English education, because if the
yes,
parents can't speak English, I don't really see how they're going to teach their kids English. Like it's going to be really, really hard to do that.
yes.
Sorry, I
And what
interrupted
is
you.
happening? This English is not our mother tongue. Or we have lots of languages. As you can say, I am Maharashtrian. I live here, Maharashtra. So my language, my mother tongue is Marathi. Then I have to learn Hindi also because of I communicate the Indian people. That time I have to speak that people in Marathi also. So that's why my first language is Marathi, then second is Hindi, and then this English language. The lots of language I should have from growing. I learned that language, but that these two language I can fluency is very good, but English is not that much. So yes, my parents don't know about English, so that is also thing. My in
Yeah.
my school, teachers not communicate in English. That time only subject we can see there, only subject this English language. So not possible to enhance my language. Yes, but after grown up, when we communicate other people for job purpose, we travel one place to another place, then I noticed in English is very important,
Hmm.
isn't it? But other people, whenever they went going for job interview for job purpose, that time they realize. So English is a very vast. English is a very global. English is a very informative language. I know it, but this is our problem. How to solve this problem, isn't it?
Well, there are a lot of like English YouTube videos I mean there is English material online that's free you can get the kids to. I mean it's hard like to make your kids sit down and watch a cartoon in English. They might be confused like I don't want to watch it in English. Um I mean, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the good thing about language learning is like whether it's one language, two languages, three languages, or four languages, it doesn't matter. Like our brains are capable of
Yes.
understanding multiple languages. As a matter of fact, there's some brain science that says that like learning multiple languages is actually good for your future I guess brain health, I guess, or something like
Yes.
that, and where
Yes.
as like you're staving off like Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. People who are bilingual, that speak multiple languages, actually perform better on those kinds of tests when they're older. So,
Yes.
I mean, I think like there's a benefit of learning multiple languages. But how do you teach your kid English if you don't know English? And I don't know, I don't have the answer to that. I don't know if there's an answer. I mean, other than like paying someone to teach your kid, putting your child in a special kindergarten or a special school,
But what is
but
happened,
it's
sir? There
expensive.
is no proper speaking English teachers. So they are, yes, there is an international school, yes, there is an English school, there is a government school there. Just parents went there whenever go there in their school. That time the teachers speak that with their parents in English. But what happened whenever that class starting? That time what happened? That teacher speak with that or that type of teacher explain anything about that subject, about that language. They speak with that children in that class. They feel if that child should have a, understand. So they start to speak in Hindi or Marathi language in
Oh,
their
really?
native
Yeah, then
language. That is the problem.
that's not going to help. Yeah, that's not going to help them.
Yeah.
It has to be in the target language, right? It needs to be all English so that there
Yes,
even the
yes,
instructions and everything is, sit down, stand up, don't touch, put your pencil down, don't hit your friend, whatever, you know. All of those things all of it needs to be in English. It needs to be a holistic kind of approach to the language. Um, it can't be talking about English in Hindi. That doesn't make sense for kids. Like they won't be able to understand the difference. They're just listening to their mother tongue, and so it's not helping them learn English. But
yes,
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's a big problem. It's one that I think the school system needs to offer some kind of program where they can get young kids exposed to English early, and where all of the instruction is in English, and it's all just like there's no Hindi in the classroom allowed. Everybody has to
yes,
speak English.
yes, that
It's
is
like a
true.
little piece of the West. This is America
Yes,
here. You have to speak English, and you can,
yes,
it's an idea that they do in Korea. A lot of they have they're called they're English language institutes here, where they have Canadians, Americans, British people will come here. I did it for a year. We teach English to kindergarten students, very young kids, but it's all in English instruction. Everything is English, and so the kids are really get used to speaking English.
yes,
They're in the morning, they're like, "Hi, teacher, hello, good morning," and the kids
yes,
can start to speak English. It's a really good system, and it gives them a head start later when they're learning English in school. But the problem is once they get into regular school in Korea, it becomes grammar, 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 grammar,
yes,
no
sir.
speaking, you know. And so it starts off really good, really well, but then it goes right back to the kind of negative thing that we've been talking about, where it's all focused on grammar and not on using the language creatively to communicate ideas.
Yes, sir. I would like to another question, sir. In English, this is it how percent is grammar is important if talking English? How important? How much important? How much percent important? Because
Yeah,
everyone don't know the grammar, but they speak very well. That's is my question.
most Americans don't know anything about grammar. If you ask them, I'll give you $10,000 if you can circle the verb in this sentence. Probably 5 out of 10 people wouldn't be able to circle the verb. Um, how important is it? It's hard for me to say because, I mean, having no grammar, then the sentence makes no sense, right? There
No
has to be
sense.
like a word order, but it's like, are you talking about like an internalized grammar or a learned externalized grammar? So when I think of grammar, I think that students, if you start young with kids, teaching them English or exposing them to English, then they will internalize the grammar of English, right? They might not know the grammar names, but they'll understand that you need a subject, an object, a verb, and an object, right? They would say like, I went to the store. And the students would not say, I to the store went. They wouldn't say that because they're used to English. They know, oh, subject, verb, object. But do we have to teach them subject, verb, object? Do we have to teach them all the parts of speech? I don't think you need to teach that much grammar. I think what you need to do is model correct usage of grammar, and then students will internalize that grammar. And then later, when they get older, you can teach them some more grammar, points to help them with little things in the language. But when it comes to just basic speaking, I think it's better to just start speaking.
Yes, that's true,
Yeah.
sir.
That's so I don't know, how much grammar you need. I wouldn't teach a kid any grammar. I will just teach
Wow.
them. I would just teach them sentences and,
We
just talk
Indians,
to them.
we
Yeah.
Indians very feel proud